So yes, I think all of my books I take inspiration from things that have happened to me, and this one is no different. I always was the smallest one in my class, and even now I'm the smaller ones amongst my group of friends. So I always found it very annoying when my parents or teachers or other classmates would tell me that I couldn't do stuff because I was too little. Found it really frustrating, and I'm a really stubborn person and very determined. So yeah, being told that I couldn't do something was not good. Yeah, this little monkey is always finding difficult to reach out stuff, or she can't see stuff, and it's even for me now. Like, I go to a concert to see some live music, and I don't get to see much, so I go and listen to live music most of the times. So yeah, so Little Monkey is just based literally on me. But I think also I'm so sure that everybody's felt little at some point in their lives. Everybody. So I think it's a book that most people can feel related to. So I think it depends on the book. The story comes first, or the images come first. But I think usually for me, and I think a lot of people, kind of come together. I find writing really difficult if I'm not writing with images at the same time. So in this case, it is true that the story came from two things, from two sides. On one hand, I was drawing lots of monkeys in my sketchbook. I was really enjoying drawing monkeys just because they have these long arms and the tails, and I found them really funny. They're really fun to draw. And I was drawing this group of monkeys, and suddenly one of them started to shrink, and suddenly this little monkey just became me. She was a very determined character. She wanted to do what the rest of the troop was doing, but she wasn't allowed. But it was by coincidence, but there was no story yet. And then I started thinking about positive things about being little as well, because being little is it's not just negative things. There's lots of good things as well. And I have this sentence written in the bottom of a page of my sketchbook, and when I presented this to my editor, that sentence was the one that sparked the rest of the book, which was that the smallest you are, the littlest you are, the bigger the hugs feel. And that's how the book ends, and that gave me the inspiration to start the book. So it kind of sparked everything from there, and I had to work backwards then from the ending, seeing like something really positive, then how she got there. I needed to show something negative then as well, or something challenging for her to overcome, for this to be something really good. Funny enough, I did not. I wrote it in English, just because I think writing things in English, because it's not my first language, I managed to be more direct with what I want to say. And maybe if I had to write them in Spanish, they'd be so long, because I can explain much more in Spanish than in English. Somehow my brain, works better if I'm writing in English. Also, I've been here for so long now that I kind of spend my days just speaking in English. So I think in English now, which is kind of strange. What else? The feeling of the book. Also, there's many expressions in English that cannot be translated into Spanish, and they're much more direct again. But when we translate the books into different languages, I know that the feeling can be a bit different just because of the translation. But I do hope, I think that all of them, at least they give the same message. The message of the book still comes across. For example, Little Monkey, it's translated in Spanish, and the translation of Little Monkey is Pequeña Mona, and it doesn't sound quite right. It sounds a bit strange because Mona is the feminine monkey instead of mono, and it just, yeah, it doesn't sound right. So because I've got a quite close relationship with the Spanish publisher as well, so we talked and we decided to call it Little in the Jungle, Pequeña en la Jungla, which is quite sweet because then we are giving the main character a name, which is Little, Pequeña. And now all the Spanish kids that have read the book, they do know that she's Little, as in that's her name, and I find that really sweet. And maybe that happens in other languages as well, and I don't know, just anything that can add to the story, to the main message, that's cool. Big fat yes. I think in picture books, both illustration and text work together. I think in every single book, in every single picture book, or at least in most of them, there are 3 stories that are being told at the same time. One is a text, another one is just, the images, and the third one is the one that we make up in our heads, bringing the 2 of them together. I think without one, the other one wouldn't exist. It's the format of book that I find so fascinating because of this, because it's magic, because the real story, you make it up in your mind. And I think that's super cool. There's also lots of stuff happening in the images that the text is not mentioning at all in the story, such as all the little characters that little monkey finds in the jungle, and these little characters teach little monkey how to do things, that she needs to look abroad. She needs to find her own way of doing stuff, like the chameleon or the little ants, so she knows she has to go under. Or the very important character in this book, which is the very large tiger, that is a danger for her, but she's completely oblivious of it, and makes the whole journey more challenging and more difficult. But you wouldn't know of the tiger if you wouldn't see the images. So it makes stories more interesting. I used to love it as well. When I went to see puppet shows, there'd always be the bad guy trying to hit the good one, but the good one would be oblivious to this character, and as an audience being able to point out something that the main character is not realizing, it makes you feel so clever and so good. Just like, look there, come on, turn around. And I love that maybe kids can play with this, and yeah, I think that could be a fun thing to do with a book. I could not believe it. Still now, I find it a bit strange. It's amazing. Also, well, when I found out, I was waiting for a bus. My editor Emily called me, and it was noisy around me, but it wasn't that noisy. But I just kept telling her to repeat it because I just couldn't understand. I thought that I wasn't understanding it properly. Thinking, what? How many books? How many children? I could not believe it. So I just find it, I think it's amazing. I think the program is an amazing thing that all the kids are going to receive a book for free with all these activities to do along the book, and just to promote reading together with your parents. I think that's super special. That's just something super good to be part of. Just thinking that I came here 9 years ago, I couldn't speak English, and now my books are gonna go into so many kids. Yeah, I'm so happy, so happy.